Damian Lillard has been the talk of the offseason so far, even though it hasn't even officially started yet. It starts in a few days, but he's been the big talk. Obviously, you look at Portland, and the big thing that's going on right here, Scoot Henderson, drafted third overall, falls to him. I get why Charlotte didn't take him, but, I think he was obviously the second best player in this draft. There's moments where, he could even contend with, Victor Wembanyama. They played against each other, held his own. But if we're looking at the future here of the Portland Trailblazers, it's becoming a culture where there's going to be a debate here who's going to be the leader of this team all the way through and through. There's going to be a debate just like from the start. Because obviously Damian Lillard, beloved there, has done so much for them, has publicly stated he wants to win a championship there. But I think his window to do it in Portland probably done. And, he had great moments there. But, the best thing they ever got to was the Western Conference Finals where they got destroyed by the Warriors. So I think the window in Portland's done. It's not something that's a bad thing. Why can't they just acknowledge that, he had good moments there, they had good moments with him, didn't bring a title. Bring Dame to somewhere where he can win a title and he can make new plays, he can sustain his legacy. Because you're looking at this team, you're looking at this roster all the way around. This is small guy. Scoot and Damian Lillard would just clash at this point. So I think at this point you got to move on from Dame. He's got a meeting coming up. I think it was either today or tomorrow. It was either earlier today or it's going to be tomorrow where he's going to discuss his future with the team, and they're going to make a decision from that point. But I think you got to trade him. I'd really like to see him in Miami. I think that'd be a really interesting place for him to be. But without question, Scoot is the future of this team. At this point, build around Scoot. Because you got two options of what you can do here. You can either break up what was the old with Damian Lillard, or you can keep it together. And I think that if you keep it together, it's just you're going to dig yourself into a bigger hole. You need to put more pieces around Scoot at this point. You need to build around him. He's a good enough player to do that. He's a bit more Derrick Rose-ish. He's a bit more Derrick Rose-ish. He's got some Ja Morant, Russell Westbrook kind of, but I think he's a more tuned player than Westbrook, obviously. He's got a decent shot on him. But, hyper-athletic guy, you got to attack his prime early if you want to build championships around him. He's not going to be that longevity stable. He's not going to be there for 10-plus years still performing. So, your window is pretty soon. You're pretty soon, and why not put pieces around him? The expectations are not going to be big this coming year. Then you get another lottery guy, and you go from there. But Dame is just, like I said, for what? Why can't you acknowledge that there were some good years? The shot that he hit to win that series against the Rockets, the shot that he hit to end the Oklahoma City trio officially, with Westbrook being the last one to leave. There were great moments there. Those are two of the best shots in NBA history. I know how cherishable that is. But, you got to let him go. And I think what it is nobody wants to make the statement because in Portland, they really love Damian Lillard. And I can't blame him. If I had a guy in my city like that, I would have a lot of respect for him too. Just for, the numbers he put up, wanting to stay, not wanting to join the super team. But I think each one of them doesn't want to make the statement. Dame doesn't want to go out there and be like, I want out. And the coaching staff and the front office doesn't want to be like, we're getting him out. Because either way, it's going to look bad. Somebody's going to do it at some point. I don't see him on this roster when the season starts. I'd like to see him in Miami. There are scenarios where Philadelphia gets into it. But, anybody's on the table. We saw with the Bradley Beal deal and anybody's on the table to get this guy. Dark horse, if they can get it off Milwaukee, that would be insane. But yeah, I mean, it was a great run that they had. And, you got to come to the point, the playoff percentage there was just bad. It was just, you couldn't, he had the worst, postseason winning percentage, for players, who averaged at least 20 plus points in the postseason. That's not all his fault. You couldn't build the right team, obviously, but, you had your moments, and keeping him right now is not going to make this better. It's going to actually extend this rebuild even longer. If you get him out, you address that, you get that out of the way. You go back to the Wizards. They took a huge loss on Bradley Beal, but they got him out. They got him out of the way. They're starting over. They're saying, screw it. We're getting rid of everybody. We're starting from scratch. We're doing this now. We're not wasting 5 to 7 years doing this. We're doing it now. Portland, if you're smart here, you do it now. It's going to be tough. You get rid of him. Luckily, you're in a great position if you're Portland. You got Scoot Henderson. He's going to be an incredible player for these next 5 to 8 years. He's going to be great. So, overall, I see it. I see Damian Lillard definitely going somewhere. I'd like to see it in Miami. I think that for sure makes them a title contender again. But, it is to be seen, and we'll see with Dame. But, I mean, obviously a great player. One that Portland's going to miss. But, sometimes you just got to move on in the sport, and, you got to embrace the direction that you're in.